Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're watching my recap of episode 3 of She's Gotta Have It. Nola and Mars are riding their bikes through Brooklyn. Apparently, someone named Onyx has defaced Nola's campaign with the C word. Seriously, how much more of a can you be? This triggers Nola to tell the story about the first time she got boobs. She says she woke up one morning and she had this quarter-pound of flesh that all of a sudden complicated her life. And there was this boy in school who would always tease her and just make her feel like crap in front of everyone. She describes it as a dark keloid growing around a wound. And I imagine that feeling that she has then is what she's feeling now, seeing that her work has been defaced. Mars, who I told you I like this dude. Like, he comes across really simple because he's just all jokes and comedy all the time, but he's actually a good dude. He tells Nola that he's going to help her figure out who did this. Her only request of him is that he doesn't tell people that it's her behind the campaign, for the obvious reason that Nola is defacing public and private property. And also, this is something that she's doing as her way of fighting back against being assaulted. It's not about name recognition. It's not about the fame. It's really something that she's doing for herself to feel better. Nola decided to take her girl's suggestion. After all, she decides to go to therapy. Lo and behold, the therapist, Dr. Jameson, is our good cousin, Heather Headley. Hey, Heather! Nola talks to her therapist, and she says that she feels like she's been attacked twice. Once, obviously, by her attacker, and second, when her campaign has been defaced. Dr. Jameson asks Nola about the men in her life. I'm all for dating around. I tell people, like, date as many people as possible. But these dudes, except for Mars is okay. But the other two come with such serious downfalls. I'm like, are you worth the headache? Yes, Jamie, you apparently provide amazing pipe, but you're married. And Greer is just... Nola says that all the guys are very different and they feed different parts of her spirit. But Nola notes that all three of these men are threatened by her sexuality. They all keep making demands of her. They all want to know about the other person. They all want her to give up dating other people. And she's like, I've been really clear about who I am and what I'm doing and what these situations are. She also says that she's really tired of making decisions based on what men think, which is exhausting. The sooner you can stop yourself from doing that, the better off your whole life will be, just FYI. Dr. Jameson's solution is to do something that makes her feel great and to assert her power. Nola's solution to this is retail therapy. She calls up Kalinda. They go to some overpriced boutique in Brooklyn where the white chick follows them around. Girl, the store ain't but so big. Like, what do you think you're not gonna see from the register? Nola picks up a couple dresses. She settles on this one dress that's cute. She decides this dress makes her feel empowered. It makes her feel like fun. So she decides to buy the dress. Nola gets to the register. Chick is like, that's going to be $558.72. Ma'am, no. Corinda says to Nola, like, girl, no, you sound crazy. And Nola was like, oh, are you trying to blame me for my assault? No, she's trying to be a friend and trying to keep you from spending $558.72 on a dress that you could easily get from Zara for around $70. You might be able to swing over to H&M and get the same looking dress for about $35. As soon as she rang that up, I would have had to tell her, your clothing is overpriced. It's not like, oh, she's balling. It's like $558, like, ugh, light work. Ma'am, you had to put that on 3 different credit cards. Nola, girl, you using bad judgment today. So Nola decides to wear her cute new dress on a date with Jamie. They go to River Cafe in downtown Brooklyn, which I've always wanted to go to. I've always said I wanted to go there for my birthday. I need to put that a little higher up on my bucket list. But the views, absolutely beautiful. No one ever talks about the food though. So, but anyway, Jamie sends a car to take Nola over to the restaurant. She shows up in her little dress. Jamie is embarrassed. Like, he's sexually attracted to her, but he wants her to cover up because this is like a very foo-foo she place. He goes as far as to take off his jacket and put it around Nola to hide her, which she promptly shrugs off and lets his jacket fall on the floor with no dams given. They're sitting there talking. Jamie says to her that he wants to see her more. Nola just very much brushes him off. She starts talking about movies that have been filmed at the River Cafe. He's like, I've really been clear on what my needs are. And Nola's like, yeah, I heard you, but I've been really clear on what mine are as well. 2 things happened next that really, really bothered me. One, he knows that Nola is like really into cinema, and he sort of casually drops like, oh, I could take you to Cannes next year. Your wife, the one that you're still married to, that lives in the house, like she may stay upstairs, you may stay downstairs, but y'all both still wear rings. Like that wife, your whole wife that you don't really talk about, How are you going to explain going to con without her? Why aren't you taking your wife to con? You sitting there talking about you going to take your girlfriend or your wannabe girlfriend to con with a ring on your finger. Jamie's partners at his company, he owns an investment firm. His partners spot him with this young chick. They send over some champagne. Nola's like, oh, let's like wave them over. Let's say thank you. Let's go say hi. And Jamie's like, hold it now. This right here is why you don't date married men. He's like, oh, I want to take you places. I want to do things. I want to buy you books. I want to wine and dine you. But you can't ever meet anybody that's really important to me because, you know, everybody knows me as a married man with a wife, and you know that's not you. Nola says to him, she was like, I'm not trying to be a secret. Nola feels a way about it, but apparently she gets over it because the driver takes them home and they're making out in the back of the car. And Jamie, you had the perfect alley-oop to get some and you just ruined it. You start talking about like, oh, you look so sexy and this dress has been turning me on. The dress turns you on like now that you're not in your bougie circle. So the same thing that you're ashamed of is also the thing that's super sexy to you. Your inner conflict is yours. Like, don't put that off on this woman in this dress. He was a little tipsy. He was slurring his words. I don't think men understand how grossly unattractive they are when they're drunk. You want to go get drunk, you need to go out with your boys and do that. That's not something you do when you're out on a date with your woman. It's totally unattractive. Ugh. But Jamie and Nola are doing their big and carry routine outside of this Brooklyn brownstone. Drunk Jamie just cannot pull it together. He's trying to get upstairs. He just saying all the wrong things. He was like, look, if you don't want that kind of attention, then you shouldn't wear the dress. She really did want to put some on Jamie's sideburns. She's like, I had a great evening. You wined and dined me. We made out in the back. I was all ready for some brown sex, but he just wouldn't shut up. So she was like, I gotta leave you downstairs. She was like, good night, Jamie. I will see you later. Good evening. And went right up into the brownstone and left him downstairs looking pathetic and sad. You did it to yourself, bruh. Mars grows on me every episode. I really like this dude. Yes, he has a lot of growing to do. Out of these three men, he's the only one that I find remotely acceptable. And I say that with him living in his sister's bedroom in the projects. But let's say this about Mars. He doesn't have a lot, but he comes through and he really cares. Jamie got a lot of money, but Jamie also got a wife. Greer seems like he has a lot of money, but he also has an incredible ego. Mars actually seems like a nice person. Couldn't marry him, but could totally kick it with him. He's a cackle. Mars is at work. He's looking for the person who is defacing Nola's street art. Later in the episode, he actually prays. He prays for Nola to be good. And he was like, God, she worked so hard. I just wanted her to be successful. I wanted her to win at life. Yes. When was the last time you heard of a man praying for somebody? Nola has a date with Mars. They're going to a concert. Nola wears her sexy black dress out with Mars as well. She has a little denim vest this time and she put it on with some Jordans, which of course Mars goes absolutely bonkers over. To start, Mars seems to handle the dress well. Nola doesn't have like a whole lot of hot and a whole lot of trot, so it's not like this dress looks really scandalous, but it gets a lot of attention. But they go to the concert. Everything's going well. Nola's on stage. She's dancing. The guy who's performing comes over and he starts dancing with Nola like he really likes what he sees as part of the act. And Mars is like, wait a minute, sir. She's dancing on stage with the entertainer. Like, why are you stopping her? This is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Some dude in the audience sees Nola dancing. He comes over. He's like, hey, what's up? Like, all aggressive. Sir, just say hello. Mars gets upset. The dude is trying to holler at Nola. He pushes Mars. Nola pushes him. He's drunk and falls over. The two of them go running outside of the club like Brooklyn nights in your 20s. Shenanigans all over the place. Mars and Nola are walking back to the house. I'm not really sure what happened to Mars' bike in this whole melee. Mars was like, oh, I was going to fight him. And Nola's going along with it. Because, you know, dudes need their ego stroked. And this is pretty harmless. Like, no one got hurt. So then he was like, yo, it's the dress's fault. What? Sir, you're talking yourself out of sex. Like, shut up. But he was like, yeah, like if you hadn't worn that dress, dude wouldn't have came over. And Nola's like, no, it's not the dress's fault. It's the drunk man who got aggressive. Like, it has nothing to do with me. Why can a grown man not control himself in the presence of less fabric? Why do I get blamed for his lack of self-control? I am a sexual human. I am very attracted to men. Somehow I'm able to control myself. I see really attractive men on a regular basis. I see men running in the park without their shirts on. I see men in beautiful suits. I look, I enjoy, and I look away. But I don't feel this incessant need to be like, oh, he's got his shirt off at the beach. I wonder if I should, go grab his penis, go pinch his nipples. Hey, beard. Like, ooh, you got a fluffy beard. You got a fat ass. I don't understand why grown people do not have these parameters. Mars is like, okay, you're right. But it's too late. Like, this is the second time she's been out with a dude who's acted a complete ass. This is coming on the heels of an assault. So she was like, deuces, I'm just going to leave you standing right here in the street. I can't blame you. Your dudes are doing the most. They've all synced up again. It's got to be annoying for you because it's annoying for me watching it being annoying for you. Greer, who is the absolute worst. He did have one bright spot here. Nola shows up to see Greer and she's like, oh, a lot of men can't handle this dress. And Greer, to his credit, he gives a good one-liner every now and again. He's like, it's my job to handle your dress. Greer's feeling a little frisky. Nola's like, yo, you know the rules. I only make love in my loving bed. And he was like, yo, I just want to taste it. Well, okay, sir, you speaking some language that I like to hear. Greer being Greer, he can't help but to blow the whole situation. Nola says that she missed him. And he was like, yeah, what about your other men? Sir, that wasn't the right response. Greer says he wants to take pictures of Nola. Wait, I thought she was supposed to be eating the box. You got one job. Complete that task first. He pulls out his camera, and at first it's cool, but then Nola gets uncomfortable. It's literally the male gaze. He's clearly very turned on by her dress, and he's acting like a goddamn animal. He's like using his camera is like a phallic object. Nothing is sexy about this. And Nola tells him, she's like, yo, I'm really uncomfortable. Like, this is getting weird. And he won't stop. I'm like, did you not hear the woman say she's uncomfortable? Did you not hear the woman say it was weird? Like, stop. Your dick gets hard and you go deaf. Nola was like, I've had enough. Y'all all getting on my goddamn nerves. So she walks out on him too. She could just walk out on Greer forever. I do not like that dude. So Nola leaves and she's walking home in her dress and she's clearly uncomfortable in it now until she runs into her neighbor, Miss Ella, which did everybody catch that was Pauletta Washington? It's Denzel Washington's wife. As a woman, Miss Ella knows how to give another woman a compliment. And she's just like, girl, you look good in that dress. You wearing that dress. I'm not saying I want a man to speak to a woman the way that another woman does. Is it really so difficult to just be like, you look good, or you look very nice, or just leave it at that? Miss Ella gives her the dopest of compliments. She quotes Coco Chanel, and she's like, if there is no woman, there is no dress. Finally, someone is acknowledging like the woman in this dress. She's not blaming the dress for anything. She's not using the dress to compensate for her ego or her lacking masculinity in the moment. She's just saying like, girl, you look good. Nola is over her men. I too am over her men. Nola throws herself into her work. Nola takes the dress and pins it to the canvas. The way she was like changing the dress around on the canvas, was that about the distortion that people make of the dress? Am I trying too hard to be deep? She's painting more. She's cleaning up her apartment. She's working on her street campaign. I love this version of Nola so much more than I did the movie version. This is the actual three-dimensional character who's about more than who she's having sex with or not. What's crazy to me is these three men sit around bored out their minds, obsessing over her. Jamie keeps calling. He calls or texts to apologize. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He goes down by the Brooklyn waterfront to catch the view, just looking lonely and just by himself. Like, sir, maybe you should go see the view with your wife. Bring some romance back to the marriage. See if y'all can work things out. Greer, you know there's women calling his phone. He ain't interested. He's sitting at home looking at the pictures he took of Nola, trying to figure out which is the best one. Mars just looks bored. He's riding around Brooklyn aimlessly. I don't feel bad for y'all because y'all did this to yourselves. Y'all could have just said, I like your dress. You look good. Everybody could have had good brown sex, but no. They ruined it by running their mouths and being sexist animals. Learn something. Be complimentary. Treat women like humans. Treat women nicely. Learn when to shut up. You're driven by your dick. It would be a lot wetter if you treated women better. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Thank you, as always, for subscribing. And let me know what you think about the series so far. I'm loving it. Obviously, I'm really into it. So I'm going to keep recapping and you keep watching. That's everything. Thanks for tuning in.